Okay, I'm gonna go live on Facebook. Give me just a sec because I just gotta. Oh, it's already all in here. Okay, just right. Gotta love all the tech stuff. Share to your page, select page. Okay, I think we are good to go. Let me just make sure that's working. Do a little check. Yeah, because I'll just keep it on my phone here as well so that if people do have questions, yes. Oh, I don't know if your video is showing up. Hold on. Oh, yeah, there you are. Okay. I think we are good to go. Okay. See, we can make all the tech work. Okay, awesome. All right. We're recording, we're live, we're awesome. Okay. Yay, Heather. I'm so excited to have my friend and amazing nutritionist, Heather Nicholds, here. Because she is sort of the go-to about all things regarding plant-based living and not only sort of plant-based lifestyle, but also what I love that you do, Heather, is like you really welcome in people that are, like you say, veg curious, because there's a lot of people that want to maybe lean into more plant-based eating, maybe are just exploring it. And I love how welcoming and accessible you make it, because for some people it's super intimidating and then that just scares everyone away. So I love your very compassionate and patient approach to that. So that's one of the reasons that I really wanted to share you with my audience. So Heather's a certified holistic nutritionist like myself, and got a great YouTube channel. And she's also coming out with a brand new book called The Plant-Based Diet Meal Plan. It's a 3-week kickstart guide to eat and live your best. And I was lucky enough to get an advanced e-copy, and I've already been looking through it. It's incredible, and I can't wait to dive into the recipes. So thank you for sharing that. So I just wanted to have you on because there's a lot of people in my community that are plant-based or vegan, but there's also a lot of people that are just interested in it, that want to, like I was saying, maybe bring more plant-based meals into their life, maybe start weaning out some of the animal products, whether that's meat, chicken, fish, or also eggs and dairy, all that stuff, because they just find that, they feel better when they at least eat less of that. So I wanted to bring you on to kind of help answer some of at least the most common questions I get from people that are trying to make that transition, or again, like just bring more plant-based meals into their life, and just get your take on some of those sort of most common questions. Does that sound good?
That sounds awesome. And I'm so honored to have you introduce me so nicely. That's like my sweet spot of where I love to work with people, is when they're just getting interested in eating more plants and showing them how delicious it can be. Because as much as we love learning about the nutrition side of things, if it doesn't taste good, we're not going to stick with it. So I love inspiring that side of people's plates and showing them how to expand the plant side so that we can just enjoy it more. And if we enjoy it more, it's so much easier to just shift in that direction over time.
Wonderful. Yeah, exactly. It has to work for our lives, right? And when we just like put a whole bunch of rules on us about now you can't have this and you can never have this again, I think that really doesn't set people up for success so well. It might be where some people want to take it, but I have found with experience, and I'm sure you find the same with clients, that if it's not going to work for their lives and it's not delicious and it's not something that, that they can do with their families and that they can do when they're out with friends and all, if they can't navigate their life with this diet, then it's not going to be something they're going to continue. So I just love your approach because it's really refreshingly patient and accessible for people. And I think that's why it really is something that people can be successful with. Okay, let's dive in because I have a few questions for you.
Cool.
Okay, so first of all, obviously, I am familiar with this because I am a nutritionist as well, and I do eat a mostly plant-based diet. But for people that are new to it, or just sort of, like you say, veg curious, I love that word, people that, have heard that maybe eating a lot of animal products isn't the healthiest thing they should be doing. Maybe they have some health issues, and so maybe they've been told by a doctor that they should maybe be cutting back on saturated fats and things. Just talk to me a little bit about why we want to eat more plants. Why are plants just in general such an amazing superfood, and why should we be wanting to get more of them in our diet and kind of pushing the other stuff out a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of the most powerful things that we can do with what we eat is incorporating more plants into our life. So that includes vegetables, fruits, whole grains, beans and legumes, nuts and seeds, and herbs and spices. So all of those things in the plant world have so many powerful benefits. You mentioned saturated fat. There's pretty much no saturated fat in plant foods. There is a little bit available from coconut oil and little tiny bits in some other foods. But we don't see that issue of too much saturated fat in a vegan diet. And then there's all these protective effects of plants. A lot of the antioxidant studies show how powerful plant foods are. Wild blueberries, kale, parsley, sesame seeds, all of these things have protective effects for our body. So the more we delve into that side, the more power we can bring and healing properties we can bring into our bodies. There's less incidence of various chronic degenerative diseases among vegetarians and vegans, so including heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and even some forms of cancer. So it's not like it's a cure-all. It's just that these foods are so powerful. Why wouldn't we eat more of them?
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Exactly. It's about bringing in more goodness instead of really focusing on all the things I can't eat anymore. Right. I think that's just a better way to look at it. And it's more appealing to our brain, right? To think about all the goodies and goodness you're going to get, again, instead of all the things you aren't supposed to have anymore. So that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the other question I get, and I'm sure you get all the time, is, but does a plant-based diet give me enough protein? And interestingly, it's not something we maybe heard a few years ago, but now, am I going to get enough fat to sustain things like weight loss or training or any of the other things that I might be, other goals I might have in my life? Is a plant-based diet going to give me enough of that, or isn't it just all carbs?
Yeah, that's awesome. I love if people are asking about how do I get healthy fats.
I know. Well, we never used to hear that, but now I feel like, it's becoming more common.
Yeah. So first of all, on protein, it is absolutely possible to get more than enough protein on a vegan diet eating only plants. We don't need nearly as much protein as what is typically eaten. In terms of the percentage of calories, we need 10 to maybe 20% calories from protein. Most people just need 10 to 15%. It's only athletes that need to be up in the 15 to 20% range. And a vegan diet can easily meet that. And then in terms of grams per body weight, we can also easily meet that on a vegan diet. There are so many vegan bodybuilders out there right now proving how possible it is to build gigantic muscles from plant foods. And I'm not a bodybuilder, obviously, but I run a lot. I'm very active. I used to be a competitive figure skater. I wasn't vegan when I was figure skating, but my last year of competitive figure skating, I was vegan, and I felt so amazing. It was so much easier to perform and find the energy that I needed. One of the things that some athletes are turning vegan in order to actually get performance gains. Because of the lesser levels of inflammation in your body, we can actually recover faster between workouts. So there are a lot of ultra runners, like ultra endurance, like 200-mile race kind of runners, who are going vegan so that they can recover faster, train more, and actually get more energy from plant foods.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
And then fats. I didn't answer your fat question.
Oh, yeah, fat question.
There's so many healthy fats in the plant world, nuts, seeds, avocados, and there's small bits of healthy fats in pretty much any food. And the lovely thing about plant food forms of fats is that they don't come along with the saturated fat, and they don't form triglycerides in our body the same way that animal fats do. So we can get all those lovely fats in a healthier package.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Rich Roll. I love his podcast. Yeah, he's such a great example of not only himself of being a successful ultra endurance athlete on a vegan diet for many years now, but he has so many great guests on the show there that, again, prove the same thing, from NFL football players to MMA fighters to, everybody. So
yeah, full spectrum.
Yeah.
No issues with protein, no issues with energy levels. So nothing to worry about.
Love it. Now again, something I hear sometimes from people who are kind of new, a lot of people haven't worked with vegetables a lot. I mean, maybe vegetables have just been like one little sad cooked side dish on the corner of their dinner plate, right, for most of their lives. And so the idea of like making meals around vegetables or plant foods can feel a little intimidating. So do you think that plant-based meal planning, which is so much of what your book is about, is it more complicated? Is it challenging? What do you think about that?
Well, I've been doing it for a long
Yeah.
time, so I find it easy by now. I think the challenge is really in learning in that transition zone. So that's why I love working in that zone with people, is showing them how to do it so that they can then learn and apply in their lives. So I'm not the kind of person that looks at doing meal plans, continuously week by week, unless you want help with prep and planning work. But once you get the concept of how to put together a balanced plate with plant foods, it gets easier and easier. The
Yeah.
really amazing thing about plant foods is that they're more naturally balanced in themselves. So we don't actually have to worry too much. Like you don't have to worry as much as you would in planning an animal-based meal plan about getting the variety of nutrients, because plant foods all have a variety of nutrients within them, and it's actually easier. Once you get the hang of cooking new foods, it's actually easier.
Yeah, great. I love it. And I love too, I find with plant-based meal prep and planning is there's so much opportunity for making stuff ahead of time. Like I love making big soups and stews and or curries or, and not that you can't do that with meat, but I just feel like it's lovely to make like I'll just do a huge casserole or something and then just freeze it or portion it up and that's 3 dinners for the week is all done there, and it's delicious and fantastic. And so I find it super easy. But again, I've been doing it for a while too. But I think,
Yeah.
like you say, with anything, right? There's a learning curve, and then once you get the hang of the basics of it, you can kind of have fun with it and do what works for you and your family.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the benefits of cooking with plant foods is that you don't have to worry about food poisoning and, cross-contamination on your cutting boards and all kinds of things, like exact temperature and making sure that your food is cooked properly. I mean, it's important to make sure that your sweet potatoes are cooked properly because they don't taste as good when they're not fully cooked. But you're not in danger of
You're not gonna die.
giving you and your family food poisoning.
Yeah.
So it's almost liberating in that sense.
Yes, I agree. Yeah. Okay, I hear sometimes from people, I don't really understand this personally because I love plant foods, but I do hear from people that, they don't like vegetables or they don't like beans or I don't like legumes or whatever, or I have picky eaters in my house and they won't eat vegetables. So what do you say to people like that?
Well, peanut butter sandwich is vegan. If you find bread that doesn't have eggs or, hidden whey or some kind of dairy in it, have a peanut butter sandwich. Hummus and pita is vegan. There are so many things that we can turn to that are vegan, that are typical comfort foods. Oreos are vegan. So if that helps someone go vegan, go for it.
Yeah,
right? If we incorporate more healthy stuff into our life over time, that's obviously ideal in terms of nourishing our bodies. But you can go vegan if you really want to.
Yeah, right. I agree. And then the other thing I hear a lot is, which again surprises me, but I wanted to raise it. I wanted to get your take on it because I hear it a lot, is it's too expensive, which I don't really understand because meat is so expensive. And is there anything cheaper than like a bag of dried kidney beans? Like you could literally feed your family for a month on a bag of dried kidney beans. But I do hear this a lot. And I think it's because people get caught up in like, I have to buy chia seeds or spirulina or hemp heart. I have to buy all these things. I don't even know where to get them and they're so expensive. So can you talk a little bit about just like simple vegan eating?
Yeah, I think that's the issue.
Chia seeds, right?
No, you don't need chia seeds. And in fact, I eat flax seeds most of the time to get that omega-3 content for my body. And flax seeds are way cheaper than chia seeds. I love chia seeds as well because they also come with calcium. But there are cheaper alternatives to a lot of the specialty items. I think because vegans want to put out that the food is fun and delicious and you have all these exciting things to try, sometimes there's a little bit too much of those specialty items, but you don't need to eat them. I mean, brown rice and kidney beans, like you said, super cheap.
Yeah.
Add some spices in there, make it into a chili, and you're set.
Yeah.
So lots of simple stuff. Most of what I do in my recipes is on the simple end because that's how I cook for myself. And that's how I think it's sustainable for most people most of the time. It's
I love
fun
it.
to use those specialty things every so often,
Yeah.
but on a regular weekday, I mean, cook some brown rice for the week, make some roasted squash and a tahini dressing and have a little side of chickpeas or something, and
Yeah.
that's totally fine by me.
Delicious and so cheap, like
Yeah.
$2 meal for the whole family, probably.
Yeah, absolutely. The protein in beans per gram is cheaper than in meat. So
For
when we cut
sure.
out those more expensive things, meat, dairy, eggs, all
Yeah.
those things do add up. And I find my grocery bill is cheaper now. So
Yeah.
I can't speak for everyone, but that's how
Yeah.
I found it.
Yeah. That's great. What is your take on the whole? I would love to, I'm fascinated to hear your take on the whole keto movement because I feel like everyone I know right now is jumping on the keto bandwagon. And so,
Really?
for those that don't know what keto is, like this whole sort of ketosis idea of that. And again, most people are doing it for weight loss, but people say it also gives, great mental clarity and energy. And this idea that you're eating a very high fat, again, typically lots of animal protein, very low carb diet so that you're putting your body into this ketosis state that's supposed to rapidly increase weight loss. Now, I'm not a fan of ketosis, but it's very hot right now. So I'm just interested in what is your take on the keto movement?
I
And this
honestly,
whole idea that saturated fat is good for us now, right? That butter's back, that the best thing for your heart is to be drinking butter in your coffee. Like, where do you stand on all of that?
in terms of butter, you can get saturated fat from coconut oil if you
Right.
want. And I would consider that a healthier source because it doesn't come along with some of the negative aspects of animal saturated fat, which does turn to like triglycerides in your bloodstream, whereas plant fat is medium chain uh, saturated fatty acids, which don't have the same impact on your cardiovascular system. As far as keto goes, I actually didn't realize that it was that big. Maybe I'm in a little bit of a vegan bubble,
Ah,
but I have heard of a lot of people wanting to go that route, but I kind of thought it died off, to be honest. The only research that I've seen that has had any beneficial effect is in the treatment of epilepsy.
hmm.
And any other use for a ketogenic diet is potentially very harmful to your system. So I wouldn't recommend it for anyone. If I had a friend who was thinking of doing it, I would probably send them some research showing how harmful it can be. It doesn't give your body the nutrients that it needs to fuel your day. I mean, if you just look at carbohydrates, they may find clarity for a short time, but over time, your brain is not going to have the energy to function.
Yeah.
So
It seems to me that keto is sort of like an emergency state of the body, right? Like, of course, your body can be trained to burn fat and give off ketones and all of this stuff. But again, it's like an emergency state. It's like when you have adrenaline and people, you can lift a car off your child. Like yes, you can do that for a few seconds, and it's great that the body is so beautifully able to adapt and do that. But it's not a place we want to live in, maybe.
yeah,
You know,
exactly.
in that sort of
I
emergency state.
Yeah, I feel the same way about pretty much all extreme diets, whether it's like fruitarian that's 80% carbs and 10% fat, 10% protein, whether it's the opposite end like keto or paleo or Atkins or whatever. Um, the macronutrient needs of our bodies are pretty stable. We might fluctuate within the normal range, but there's no research showing that people do better outside of that range. Otherwise, the government guidelines would change, right?
Right, right.
They're based on being appropriate for 97.5% of the population. So pretty much all of us are going to find ourselves working optimally within the normal range, which is, I think it's 55 to 70% carbohydrates.
Carbohydrate. Yeah. Yeah. I love it. Okay, great. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the book because it's beautiful, first of all. Gorgeous, really. Um, okay, the plant-based diet meal plan, 3-week quick start guide to eat and live your best. What was your goal with this book? Like, what was your vision? What did you want to give to the world with this baby?
I wanted to show people how to get started eating plants So that's where the meal plan comes in, that it shows you 3 weeks. And I said earlier that I don't live my life based on constant meal plans. But if you're just getting started, it's hard to know how to balance your plate, how to plan out a week. So I've done 3 weeks. There's grocery lists, there's a prep guide, so you can be all set to go. And then all the recipes in this book are basically to show you how to make delicious meals with whole plant foods. So like we were talking about, the cheap stuff that you can buy pretty easily anywhere, and you can still make really delicious food with it. So yeah, my hope is to inspire people to try plant-based.
Good. I love it. So it comes out officially February 27th, right? But it's available for pre-order now.
Yes.
Awesome.
And the bonus.
Oh, yeah.
For pre-orders, because I know you won't get it right away, but anyone who pre-orders right now until February 27th, when it's actually out for print, between now and then, free copy of my Healthy Vegan Desserts ebook, as well as a digital copy of my full-length Protein from Plants book. So anybody who's worried about getting protein, that'll help for you.
Okay, great. So those are bonuses if you pre-order now. Okay, good. I will put the link below or around somewhere here for the pre-order. And I really, really encourage people to grab it because, like I say, I saw it already, and it is not only beautiful to look at, but so many great recipes. And like you say, very easy to make recipes, not 12 million ingredients, things that people can do, and a whole lot of different options. So there's going to be something for everybody in there, regardless of how picky you are, or how picky your kids are, or your husband is, or whatever. There's going to be something for everyone. So let me just see if we have any things that people can do, and a whole lot of different options. So there's going to be something for everybody in there. This is why I don't have that on. Okay, good. The problem with you're on Facebook everywhere, and then it's like this echo.
Yeah, I hear you.
Good. Thank you so much, Heather. I so appreciate your taking the time to come and talk to us. I know this is going to be really helpful for people. Again, people who are just kind of maybe who have been vegan for a while. It's always good to have a refresher. Always great to get new recipes and get a little refresh. And I think even nice to have the meal plan, because again, even if you have been making vegan or plant-based meals, it's nice to try different things and see what feels differently in your body, so I always think it's a great opportunity. And also really good for people who are new or who are veg curious, who are interested in it, but maybe have been nervous and worried that they might not be able to nourish themselves properly on a plant-based diet, or that it won't be delicious enough. I think this book is going to really help them over some of those hurdles.
Thank you so much, Sarah. It's been so good chatting. And if anybody has any questions for me, feel free to head over to my Facebook page and I can answer questions there. Or I can keep up on the comments here. If you tag me, I'll make sure to come back and answer any questions people have.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I will talk to you soon. Have a great rest of your day.
Thanks. You too. Bye, guys.